After more than a year of the Russian invasion of Ukraine, the powers around the world are sending in their help in whatever means necessary to help Ukraine win the ongoing war. The much-awaited help for Ukraine has finally arrived in the form of Leopard 2 tanks from Germany. Watch the video till the end as we tell you about Leopard 2 tanks and why they're being sent to Ukraine. Leopard 2 is widely marketed as the world's leading battle tank. For nearly 50 years, the Leopard 2 has integrated elements of firepower, protection, speed, and maneuverability, making it adaptable to many different sorts of combat situations. The 55-ton tank has the ability to host a crew of 4, a maximum speed of roughly 68 km per hour, and a range of about 500 km with a 1,200-liter tank. The 120mm smoothbore gun that serves as its primary weapon has a fully digital fire control system. The original design, which is now available in 4 major versions, entered service in 1979. The Leopard 2 tank has been in widespread usage throughout Europe, including more than a dozen different nations such as Poland, Greece, in addition to the German military, and a number of additional nations, such as Canada. Moreover, Turkey's deployed these tanks in Kosovo, Bosnia, Afghanistan, and Syria in the past. According to Kraus Maffei Wegmann, approximately 3,500 units have reportedly been delivered to 19 nations overall. As concluded in a recent analysis by the IISS, the International Institute for Strategic Studies, approximately 500 Leopard 2s in various versions have been sent to nations throughout Europe. However, Germany has the final say on whether Leopard 2s can be delivered even from other countries' arsenals. It's thought that at least 100 Leopard 2 tanks would be needed in the Ukrainian conflict with Russia for the battle to be significantly affected. Ukraine, however, has asserted that it requires 300 tanks to tip the scales of the conflict. Even though Ukraine has made significant gains in the war recently, including the early battle for Kyiv, Kharkiv Oblast, and the area around Kherson in the south, it's still constrained by a lack of tanks to support its operation and is up against Russian forces that are increasingly fielding more advanced and capable T-90s. Consequently, Ukraine requested the world powers that it urgently needs greater armor to fight off an invasion by Russia, because there aren't many tanks available in Kyiv, and those that are available are mostly from the Soviet or post-Soviet era. To add fuel to their request, Kyiv and many of its allies believe that Moscow wants to launch a substantial new offensive in the coming months. Since its ability to fight Russia largely depends on the weapons provided by NATO allies, Ukraine has had to walk a fine line with its foreign allies when it comes to the distribution of tanks. It's also upset by how long it frequently takes partners to approve Ukraine's armament deliveries. Ukraine has begged with its partners on numerous occasions for tanks, claiming that it needs them to beat Russia, especially to counter Moscow's predicted spring offensives. This delay in recent months was caused by a result of long disagreement regarding Germany's stance on delivering heavy weapons. It appeared that Germany would rather take a multilateral strategy to arming Ukraine rather than appear to be acting unilaterally. It's worth mentioning that Germany did send Ukraine a lot of material, notably armored vehicles, but it's also been battling its anti-militarist post-Second World War attitude. As a result of their far more overtly offensive capabilities, the supply of main battle tanks has previously been viewed as problematic by anti-military people. However, pressure on Germany increased from more hawkish Western partners, although the US also declined to provide its potent M1 Abrams tanks. Instead of the tanks, the US planned new military aid packages that included over 100 Stryker combat vehicles and at least 50 Bradley armored vehicles. The reason behind the Americans not including Abrams tanks was that it required extensive maintenance and may not be the best fit for the Ukrainian soldiers. Moreover, the Czech Republic and Poland gave Ukrainian forces T-72 tanks from the Soviet era, while Britain indicated it will supply Challenger 2 tanks to the country. All of this pushed towards Leopard 2s as they're less complicated to operate than the large American tanks and also require less training and is jet fuel free, unlike the M1 Abrams. Amidst all of this, Poland was the first nation to volunteer to deploy Leopards to Ukraine, and it was highly critical of Berlin's initial refusal to permit the transfer of the potent battle tanks to Kyiv. This was announced by Mateusz Morawiecki, the Prime Minister of Poland, who had a meeting with Volodymyr Zelensky, the President of Ukraine. Since Russia began its full-scale invasion on February 24, 2022, Poland has been one of Ukraine's most ardent supporters, pleading with its NATO and EU allies to increase military assistance to the strife-torn nation. Morawiecki and Ukrainian Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal both placed wreaths at the memorial to the fallen defenders in Kyiv. Poland, in the meantime, has increased its own weaponry purchases, increasing its military spending this year to more than 4% of GDP. More than 1 million Ukrainian refugees reside in the nation. In the meantime, Moscow also tried to intimidate Germany while it was thinking of approving the military aid of Leopard 2s. During a routine press briefing, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov stated that Russian and German relations are already at a fairly low point, adding that there's currently no substantive dialogue with Germany or with other EU and NATO countries. Furthermore, such offerings are not encouraging for the future of the relationship. After this statement, Germany was also said to be concerned that Russia would view the supply of tanks as an escalation. According to Defense Minister Boris Pistorius, German tank inventories, industry stocks, supply logistics, and supply maintenance must all be evaluated. Furthermore, concerns also sparked that supplying tanks would intensify the conflict and turn NATO into an active participant in the fight with Russia. However, amidst all the pressure, Germany ultimately announced that it would provide Leopard 2A6 tanks for Ukraine's war effort and allow allies to re-export more battle tanks to Kyiv. This announcement came from Olaf Scholz, the German Chancellor, who stated that as a result of intense deliberations that took place with Germany's closest European and international allies, Germany will continue to enhance its military support for Ukraine and will give the Ukrainian armed forces Leopard 2s. The Chancellor said that this choice reflects Germany's well-known policy of providing Ukraine with all the assistance it can. Internationally, our actions are carefully coordinated. According to Germany, its objective was to immediately assemble 2 tank battalions with Leopard 2 tanks for Ukraine. Germany will first provide a firm with 18 Leopard 2A6 tanks from its Bundeswehr stockpiles. The Leopard 2 tanks will also be given to other European partners. According to the country's military ministry, Germany, Portugal, and Sweden will now put together 1 battalion to help out Ukraine. The German Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock also said that Germany would not stand in Poland's way if it wanted to send Leopard 2 tanks from its arsenal across the border into Ukraine. After Germany's approval of 18 tanks, everyone was curious as to how many tanks could be sent to Ukraine, as more than 2,000 tanks have been put into use in more than a dozen European nations, as well as Canada in the past. Ukraine claimed that it needed around a total of 300 new main battle tanks to tilt the conflict in their favor. Yet, if 12 Western countries each provided 14 tanks, the total would reach about 100, which might make a difference. On Friday, February 24th, the anniversary of Russia's invasion, the Polish defense minister said that Poland has sent the first Leopard 2 battle tanks to Ukraine. Without specifying how many German-made tanks were shipped to Kyiv, this was indeed confirmed by Mariusz Błaszczak, who stated during a National Security Council meeting that today, Polish Leopards are already in Ukraine. It's worth mentioning that it's more difficult to get Leopards into Ukrainian hands than it is to roll them over the border from friends in Western Europe. According to the International Center for Strategic Studies, operating crews and support workers would require 3 to 6 weeks of training to become proficient at the fundamentals to operate these tanks. Experts in the field suggest that experienced Ukrainian tank crews could probably understand using the Leopard 2 rather quickly, and training might be condensed to concentrate on the basics. The crews from Ukraine will soon begin receiving training in Germany. All in all, it's quite clear that the effectiveness of Ukraine's recent counteroffensives has been largely attributed to prior military assistance, such as the American HIMARS rocket system. So, the addition of Leopard 2 tanks to Ukrainian arsenal will give high hopes in Kyiv, turning the tide of the conflict in their favor. That's it from today's video. We hope you enjoyed the content of the video, and if you did, show some love and hit that like button. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you never miss out on any of the amazing videos we have in store for you.